there's some people out there who don't understand that you can actually make money from TikTok or social media. So just tell us how this goes.
Yeah, so basically it's kind of what we're used to with Instagram, YouTube, where it's you gain a certain following, and then from that following, there's companies that want to market on your platforms. That's kind of what it all boils down to, whether it's brands, musicians, you market for them.
Okay, well, this sounds a little bit too good to be true. So why don't you shed some light on some of the challenges that digital creators face?
So I think, okay, obviously it's about content, and you need to be creating fresh content very consistently. So I think as opposed to something where, let's say, maybe a YouTube channel, so I'm talking specifically about something like TikTok, where the turnaround time is so fast for when content expires. You need to be posting content multiple times a day.
So there's always some pressure on you to post.
There's always pressure to post. And even, I mean, you can feed off of your personal life and what's happening and use that as inspiration, but there are times you just don't want to post. Like, I think this week has been for me personally. And so I think, and you see that going into my content, you're like, oh, this guy's going through something personal. So I'm like, okay, it's a balance of, I need my personal time, but also I need to put out content, and somebody might relate. What I'm going through now, it might speak to somebody. So it's kind of this balance of like not getting too personal, but also like it might inspire somebody else. So I think that's a challenge. It's create. No matter what you're going through, still create.
What about when it comes to brands? Do they respect a digital content creator as much as they would respect traditional media maybe? Or do they sometimes try to underpay you a little bit?
I think that's definitely there, especially for TikTok, because it's new.
Okay.
So as opposed to established creators on something like YouTube, Instagram, where they're more used to that kind of marketing. And so they'll know, okay, these many followers means this much money.
Right.
Where on TikTok, a lot of brands, especially now, since kind of the quarantine started, they've been trying to experiment with TikTok. And so it's a matter of like, we don't really want to invest because we don't know if we're going to get the return on investment. But it's interesting. So like, can you do this for free?
So they're just testing the waters a little bit.
Many brands are testing the waters. Some, of course, they know like, okay, we know you guys have a following. We know we have to pay you guys. So it's a mixed bag of like some want things for free. And then some are like, we have a little budget because like we don't know if it's gonna work. So it's kind of cool because we're the first ones pioneering this whole space.
Right. So what would you tell the small, the newcomers or the small creators right now? What advice would you give them?
Yeah. I think just hop in, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Just start creating content because you don't have to know what kind of content you like. You don't have to have a voice even, because that will come as you create content. So for me, I can't say that, I went in when I started October 2017 and I'm creating the same content that I'm creating now.
And you didn't know it's going to turn into this huge
I wasn't even on
business.
TikTok. I started TikTok last year, June, so mid-year 2019.
Well, you know what? That is a crazy story that in 1 year you've amassed such a large following.
Yeah.
And I actually have a special shout out to you since we're talking about small creators, because you were actually the first creator with a verified tick to comment on my videos when I first joined TikTok.
Woo,
and
Radhika.
you were the first creator to ever give me a shout out.
Oh, that's
so
dope.
here I am returning the shout out. But if any of you have any questions for Kamau, if you're just a fan of him, you can message us on 0758 123 444.
Or head into our socials. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Radio 44 Kenya.
If you don't know who he is, just download TikTok. He's going to be one of the first creators who pop up on your For You page.
But I'm going to ask you, you're a Colombian.
Yes.
All right? Afrobeats with Kamau. How did that name come up? You're regarded as Kamau now.
Yeah, no, it's pretty much my actual name. Like, if somebody calls me Kamau, I will look your way. Like, it's literally my name. When I first came here, they're like, your name, Javier Felipe, is too complex. We're just going to call you Kamau. Your name is too hard. And I think it's also like a making you feel like culturally immersed kind of thing, where they're just like, oh, like you're one of us, like be Kamau.
You know what, Bhargav? I think we should also give him an Indian name because he's here. He knows so many Bollywood songs. What do you suggest?
Raj. Like, there couldn't be any other Bollywood name than Raj.
He looks like a Raj.
He looks like a Raj, right?
Yeah. Afrobeats with Raj.
It would have to be
Bollywood Beats.
Bollywood Beats.
Bollywood Beats.
Alternate channel.
Oh,
yes.
This
Why
is
not?
Perfect.
Yeah, true.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Now, but I've got to ask you another question. With all this rhetoric around TikTok, you know, people banning it, countries are banning it, India has banned it, USA. How do you see the future of TikTok, especially in Kenya now?
Yeah, I think we're just kind of playing it by ear. Like, I think the beautiful thing is we don't know what's going to happen, but it's kind of one of those things where this is a tool that's helping us creators develop our voice. And that's not going to go anywhere. Whether the platform changes, it expires, we've gained not only a community, but also a way to express ourselves that we can then take anywhere.
You know what, that's a really important point, because TikTok at the end of the day is not just an app, it's a community. So even if the app gets banned, you can't ban the community.
True.
So actually that's an interesting take on it. But you have solidified your name as a TikTok Kenya king. And I just want to ask, where do you see your career going in the future? In the next, 1 year, in the next 5 years, where is Afrobeats by Kamau going?
Yeah, I think just how I live my life personally is very... Of course, I have long-term visions, but I'm very like, let me just come here, especially being a foreigner, leaving my family, moving to a new country. It's very much like, okay, let me come here for a year. Let me see what happens. And then I'll decide after the year. Okay, cool. That was 2019. Okay, awesome. I liked it. I can go back. I see opportunities. Let me do it again 2020. So I kind of evaluate like on the short-term scale. But I can see myself something very powerful about storytelling. Whether that's on radio, on TV, and being kind of a platform to amplify people's stories is what I love. Like now, that's what I want to get more into is I have a platform, and yes, a lot of it has been built on my voice, my experience, but I want to use it. I see so many creators who have such powerful stories. Now I'm thinking, how do I, with my platform, amplify those stories?
And, just going back to the topic about digital career, like a digital career, do you think it's sustainable in terms of financially? For sure.
I think we're getting to the point for me personally, I would say May, June, when it really became sustainable.
Okay.
So of this year, so pretty recently, but it's something where you see campaigns coming in monthly and different kinds of opportunities that make it like, okay, I can live from this, at least for now.
Oh, wow. Okay, now, but you came to Kenya as a newbie.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Was there a culture shock? Like, now you've adapted, you've become Kamau of Kenya, but was there a culture shock when you came first?
I think I've always been so open-minded. Like, as a Colombian, so I was born in Colombia, but because of what was happening in Colombia, we left as refugees to Miami. And so that's always been in my blood of, like, be taken away from your environment, be thrown into somewhere else completely new, and you have to adapt. And so, of course, there are things like language and just different life experiences, like being away from your family.
Yes.
But me, I've always just been like, okay, let's just go for the adventure.
The fact that you said me, I have always been like...
You're too Kenyan. You're too Kenyan. But we also heard that you've been to college in India and he learned how to write and read Urdu and Hindi.
Yeah.
That's what you call a citizen of the world. And coming soon, Bollywood Beats with Raj. Well, you know what? We asked for questions from you out there. And we also asked the office for some questions. And we've got a question from the ladies who have asked, are there any leading ladies in Kamau's life?
Is there a Simran to Raj?
As much as I would like to lie, obviously, like, as a content creator, I'm inspired by my personal life heavily when I create content. I can tell you no. All of my community will tell you obviously. There's something happening. Okay. Even my comments are like, Javier, you're in love. Kamau's in love.
So you know what? This is, he's answered it like a politician. He said the answer, but in a roundabout way. So I will say it very clearly.
I studied political science. So...
Well, you know what? If you have similar questions for Kamau, you can get in touch with us on 0758123444.
Or on our socials at Radio 44 Kenya.
For now,